Okay, good afternoon everybody. Unfortunately the slight change in weather we've had just recently has meant that the signals have gone wrong and this train has been a little bit delayed. However, I'd like to welcome to the train, stepping off the station, is Chris Burgess, the real Chris Burgess.
Yep.
And Chris has come to see us today because we're going to talk about energy, we're going to talk about healing, and in particular I know that Chris's big thing is EFT, and we're going to talk about that. I'm not going to explain what that is yet, I'm going to leave that to you. Okay? But what I'm really looking at here is what is the essence of healing. We've talked about, over the past 6 weeks, different kinds of energy and so on, but what is the essence of healing, Chris? What is it all about?
Well, the essence of healing is you've got universal energy. Now, some people call it God, some people call it spiritual. The shamanic days, the Indians used to call it something else, and the Great White Spirit. But all through, it's just another word for energy. And you've got several different methods of healing people with energy. One is EFT, other one is you can use NLP or hypnosis. There's quantum healing, and there's also Reiki. Now Reiki is the Japanese version. In other words, Reiki. Ki is energy,
Reiki to me is just, and some of the research I did on that, Reiki is just another name, it's a Japanese name for healing. You just explain it, energy healing.
Qigong, energy healing.
Okay.
Qi is energy, and Gung is working with it. So that's the Chinese version. Then you have prana in the Indian one, you know, the Ayurvedic stuff.
Yeah.
And that's prana, just means energy.
So
it's the same energy.
So in other words, we're going round and round and round. And we've already determined on the show that God is actually a black woman. So there are a variety of different things. We did that at the beginning. So there are a variety of things here. And it seems to me like there are a number of stories and a number of different ways of describing things.
Yeah.
But they all come back to the same thing.
Yeah. You have prophets, and we've had prophets about every 600 years. Now, seriously, which is nice because they go on and they say, oh, you should be nice to people, you should do them no harm, you should treat them with love and affection, and do unto others as you wish done unto yourself. And then somebody thinks we can cash in on this and make a religion out of it, which is a shame really, because it's the one energy, it's the one God, if you want to say God, universal energy. And it's very useful for people once they get into believing in it.
You told me a little story before we started.
Did I?
Yes, you did. You told me several actually. You told me several. But one of the ones you told me, you were saying you were talking to somebody and they were of a different religion.
Oh yeah.
And they, yeah.
Well, what I do, you get some people on the rails, they call them zealots, or something else if you like. And they'll say, well, born again Christians, you can only be a born again Christian, right? You know, and go to heaven. If you're not a born again Christian, you can't go. So, who said that? That's somebody who's written that down, so they'll get more born again Christians. So it's a difficult one because
but the other
what I
thing
normally say to the people is that, have you got one God? And they go, yeah. I said, is that God the God? And they go, yeah. I said, well, therefore, if there's only that one God, your God is my God, which is, again, universal healing or energy, but you don't tell them that, you just say, your God is my God, because it is.
Yeah.
There's only one. Universal power. And
it makes it very difficult sometimes for people to accept that.
Oh yeah, because they're being indoctrinated into going down a specific route.
My thing on this actually is that it's all about money. At the end of the day, it's all about money. And one of the richest institutions in the world is the church.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things which annoys me more than anything else. But that we're getting onto a different tack there. So we're back to the essence of this, which is healing.
Yes.
Which is energy. Okay. Now, we were talking earlier about EFT.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell us a bit about EFT?
EFT is primarily it's a version of acupuncture or acupressure. So with the EFT, instead of sticking needles in people, right, you stick your finger on the thing.
Right. You've now brought me to something else here.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, what is acupuncture?
Acupuncture is a set of meridians that they thought did not exist in the Western world. Now they've actually got the cameras and things that can see
So
it.
Chinese people, the only people who could have had.
The only people who could have. Oh no, it's just that they didn't.
Because it didn't exist over here.
No, they just didn't believe it. That's all. They had it, but they didn't believe it because they couldn't see it.
Yeah.
So in other words, clinically, doctors now will analyse it to the nth degree. Right. If you're like that. Sorry, that's not a rude sound, by the way. That means you've only got one finger. They can see that. So sorry about the American element of that. Now, if you've got 5 fingers, they go, oh yeah, you've got 5 fingers. But if you've got your hand like that, well, we don't believe you've got 5 fingers. You know, that's a daft analogy of it. So in other words, they want to analyse everything to death before they'll believe it, even though they'll see it working in front of their eyes.
Okay, so you just said that they've managed to analyse it and they can now photograph it. They know that these meridians actually exist.
Carrying photographs, they can see an all-around person.
Kirlian photographs, okay, so they can actually, we've talked about Kirlian photographs before and it's something I think we need to look into, but they can actually see these energy meridians, energy lines, and as I understand it, putting the needle into those lines actually stops the flow or changes the flow of the energy, which is what creates the healing, and which is why they can have operations very often with using needles in certain acupuncture points, stops the meridians and actually makes it painless.
That's correct.
So you can actually do an operation while somebody's still wide awake.
Yeah.
Okay. So how does that work with EFT? How does that work with tapping?
EFT, it hits the same meridians.
Okay.
Right, so the acupuncture meridians are the same as acupressure meridians. So you press on it or you tap it.
Okay.
Right. So therefore, these meridians in your body, what you're asking about EFT?
Yeah.
Well, EFT uses affirmations from the person who wants to get shut of this emotional rubbish or physical rubbish that they've got, pain, and by tapping in the right places and using the right information from the person, or giving them some words yourself. It depends on horses for courses. Everybody's different.
So we're talking about emotions because it's called emotional freedom technique, isn't it?
Emotion is an energy, right? And it's a very strong energy.
Go on.
Right. So I stuck a little thing down on it because I'll probably forget it. Being very old.
Well, join my club.
So if you like, if you get an injury. First of all, you get the actual trauma of the injury. So if somebody hits you over there with a brick, right, you go, what's that? Oh dear, oh fine. Yes.
Well, if you're on his radio program,
yes. And the emotional trauma is the second one. So one is you get the impact, which can break your arm, do your hip in, do your leg in, foot, whatever, and then the emotional trauma behind that, you go, I'm struggling with that because this thing goes sod in hell, and then you've got the memory of protection. So as an example, probably 3-4 weeks ago now, I went to see a guy who'd been injured 30 years ago, and he's had severe pains in the back and the arms and shoulders. He could only lift his hands this high, right? And he obviously couldn't move his back. He's on morphine and morphine patches, and also down, which I didn't know, down one side here, he had this pain, but right along the side, he'd had it for 30 years. So using EFT and EMDR, which I'll explain later, it took me an hour to shift a lot. Right, so I then said, can you lift your arms over the head? Then I said, can you touch your toes? He bends down and touches his toes. Right, I can't touch my toes because my belly gets in the way. And then he said, this pain from the right side, which is really bad, it was on the Richter scale 10, it's 0's not 10's high, and that was gone. Now that was 4 weeks ago. I rang him up and he's still okay after 30 years. But that's using EFT and EMDR.
EMDR, let's come to in a minute.
Yeah, okay.
So that's using EFT, which is tapping on the various
On the various
acupuncture.
acupuncture points,
Okay.
yeah.
That is interesting. You also were saying that there's you can demonstrate. Can you do to me what we were doing, what you showed earlier on to somebody about the way your emotions can change
Yeah.
the way you are with your body?
Certainly.
Okay. So let's just. I've got to walk over here to you.
Slowly, of course.
This one here slowly, of course, because this train is jogging me about all over the place.
Right, so
All right.
you're okay there?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
We wait for the camera to get set up, right? So you put your arm up on there.
Okay.
Right. So think of something you're really enjoying yourself. And when I press down, you know, I'm sure you're
Oh,
happy.
okay. Yeah.
Right, when I press down, you
Yeah,
press up.
yeah.
So this, as you, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, okay, sorry about that. Right, I'll just keep your fingers on because I don't want to break your hand.
Okay.
I can if you like.
No,
Right, now,
not just now.
what I'd like you to do now is think of something. Could be donkeys years ago, it could be now, it could be last week, whatever, but that's really got to your emotion in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So
Okay.
you've got that, have you?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
Again, think of the emotion again, the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
saying try and resist that, you see.
Yeah.
You think that bad emotion,
Yeah.
so I'm going to press that.
Now, I was trying.
Yeah, I know you were. Yeah, right now.
I really was.
Right now. See,
Okay.
this is called a conception vessel, or the do channel, right? This is energy, or universal energy. So I'm restoring that to take away this aggravation you had. And what it is, it comes up here and it disappears into here and around your brain. This energy, it's just energy.
Okay.
You okay? Put your arm up. Resist. You ready?
Yeah. It's better
No,
than
it's
it
stronger
was.
than it was, yeah. Okay.
I find that. Now, there's loads of people out there
Yeah.
who are going to say, you set that up. You set that up.
I hope you could tell by your face and your reaction at the beginning. Well, it doesn't matter because I don't care.
Well,
Because if they want to give us a ring and get me to fix them, I will do. Not possibly using that same technique, but
No.
a different one.
Okay.
Well, there's another one. Do you mind if I demonstrate it for lifting the energy for people?
Go on.
So they can see it and do it themselves. If your energy's dead flat, right, and look, am I okay there? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah?
yeah.
Great. Now, this is not a rude American sign.
You sure?
Yes. It's a digit. So what you do is you place this into your belly button, or if you're posh, your navel, right?
Yeah.
You take this other finger, and this is acupressure, which obviously goes into your head, brain, right? And what you do is, as you breathe in, you lift that and pull up, and let it go. And then breathe in, pull up, and let it go. You do that 9 times, and your energy will go from a 2 up to a 9 or a 10. Because you are actually operating on this meridian, which is pushing it right into your blooming head as well, right? And that lets it circle down the back, up the front, like it should do, and it's works.
Then now your pituitary gland or your third eye?
Third eye, yeah, it's called third eye.
I
Or
find that.
yin tang is the acupressure name for it, Chinese. Yin, I see myself, yin tang.
I lost that.
What is that? Yin Tang, like your Wu Tang?
Yin tang, yeah, that's yin tang.
Yin Tang, yin like pole. Yeah, okay, fair enough. The thing is, that
Yes.
just to go back a step, when you did that to me,
Yeah.
I also want to point out that you did that to somebody else before the show started,
Oh yeah.
who's an absolute skeptic,
Yes.
and it did it to him as well,
Yeah.
in exactly the same way. And if there's anybody who would have not succumbed to that, this guy would not have succumbed to it, but he did.
Especially when it wasn't on camera.
But the trouble was, it wasn't on camera. But if you
No, I mean, it wasn't on camera,
It
so you
wasn't
had
on
no
camera.
reason to
Yeah.
do it or not do it.
absolutely,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
It was not.
So, and that shocked me because I didn't think it would work quite like that on me. One of the problems I have with these things
Yeah.
is, for example, you were pulling energy up. You were pulling energy up with your hand,
Yeah.
and
Do it yourself.
I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
But, and I know there are people who are going, stick a finger in your navel, you stick a finger on your head.
Try it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Breathe in, push up, breathe out, let it go.
And-
Breathe in and pull out.
At the end of the day, you are absolutely right. I mean, try it. If you're a skeptic, Just try it and see what happens.
Yeah, it works.
I must say, when you did that to me, I was quite surprised. In fact, I was very surprised.
Yeah, the other one you see, you can do with your own hand. But from experience, and that's what it's all about, doing that with your own hand, if that works stronger for you, so you just stand there and lift your hand up to this point here. So this is pericardium 8. It's a connection point, if you like.
Okay.
Yin and yang. So you do this up here to there, and then you don't drop your hand, you lift your hand sideways and lift the energy up like that.
It's like if you drop your hand, you push it
Well,
away.
you push it down, yeah. So what you do is you're scooping the energy up, it's all around you, up to there, and that's it.
The energy's all here, let's just use it.
Energy for you to tap, and use for your benefit and the benefits of other people.
I have to say, I am learning things all the time.
Good.
And
Never stop learning.
Now, I
And I'm
find this.
110.
Are you really?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
happy birthday.
I'm
well
lying.
done.
I'm lying as well.
What did you say? Gareth say, did you say 110?
Absolutely.
I thought that'd get it.
Something's got to wake you up. That's really, really interesting. Now, tell me about EMDR.
EMDR, right. Shall I tell you the way I use it?
Go on.
Right. What I do is using the acupressure points, EFT, with affirmations, and you get the person to say the affirmation. But normally it's somebody's got a screaming tenor like that. Oh, really? And it's sad because they don't need it, and they don't want it. So what you do is you knock it down with EFT to a 3. Once it gets to...
Can I interrupt you a second? What I should explain here is you're talking about between 1 and 10
Yeah.
as being
stress.
stress levels.
Yeah. What it is subjective. Subjective means you feel it.
Yeah.
Units,
Yeah.
amount of stress.
Okay, that's fine. I just
Subjective.
want to make that clear to everybody so everybody
Or
knows.
distress, it is. Yeah. So we call it distress.
Right.
Suds. Now, if somebody's got a level, well, the scale really is from 0 to 100, but somebody say 82.5. So, so it's simple. It's either blooming high or it's low. So if it's none, it's none. If it's 10, right, that means it's a good 10. It could be really 20, but that's like. So what you do is you ask them what the level is, drop it down to 3 with EFT, and then the EMDR, eye movement, desensitization, and reprocessing. So what it does is then you ask them a question, and the question is, would you like this problem to go away? Would you like it to go away now? Would you like it to not come back? And guess what? They'll all go, yes, 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 because they don't want the problem. So they have then said to the conscious mind, this is the thing that they want, right? And then you work on the, similar EFT points, but with eye movements, so you get them to move the eyes down, up, round, down, that way, and then round. And then when you finish with the eye movements, while you're still tapping on the meridians, by the way, and on this one, if you can see this is called a San Yao channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is,
You've got like a groove that
it's
goes
like between the middle finger and the ring
yeah.
finger.
So you tap on that, make sure you get them all, you see. So
Yeah.
you get your fingers in and you tap on that while you're saying this affirmation, and then while you're doing the eye movements, and then when you do the final one, which is counting from 1 to 9, and you do that 3 times. And then when you finish that, you say to them, what's it like now? And they go, it's gone.
What's what like? Yeah.
It's gone.
I'm just, okay, that's brilliant. Tell me about affirmations. How do you determine, first of all, what is an affirmation?
An affirmation is
And
something
secondly, how do you determine what it is?
well, an affirmation is something that you're affirming that you don't like, or you're affirming that you do like. So they call it an affirmation. So they're saying something that they like, and they're affirming it, so it's an affirmation.
Okay.
If they're saying something that they don't like, it's an affirmation.
So, what,
So in other words, you tell them what it is you don't like, that's the affirmation. And they wish that to go away.
so that's the affirmation.
Well, the affirmation is the word they give you. So you don't give them the word, you say what word comes to mind to you that you want to get shut off.
Right, now just a second, I'm just a bit confused. Give me an example.
Right. somebody will come out with a thing that they've got a problem, and the affirmation, the word that encapsulates it, the problem, is fear. So so you work on fear.
Okay.
And you make the fear go away.
So.
And once it goes away for that particular thing, which is behind it, right,
Okay.
it's gone.
So what's the actual affirmation for that?
Fear.
The word is fear.
Yeah.
Right, because I've always thought that affirmations were things like I am feeling positive.
Yeah.
Or I am feeling.
That's a positive affirmation. You'd have a positive affirmation, you wouldn't come and see me, would you?
Okay, go along with that.
Yeah. If everybody was positive in affirmations all day, every single day, since this big little children, it'd be a great world because everybody would be bloody happy. But they get put on, they get put down, they get the biggest fear in the whole of the world, biggest fear that's America and everywhere else in Europe, is the fear of public speaking.
Is it?
Yeah. Universal fear of public speaking. So you can shift that. And what about great success with, even had a barrister one time, and I said, hang on, you didn't cause all the blooming time, did you? Oh no, but I'm doing a presentation to 250 of my peers. So, because he's concerned about public speaking. So all I did then was just point out to him what it was, give him techniques to do the public talk. And I said, as an example, I said, how many slides are you going to use on this? 24. I said, no, 4. And I told him how to do the slides and how to ask the questions. And I said, you'll never get through the 4 bloody slides. Because don't forget, he's 250 barristers, so they're not going to ask questions.
Barristers, yeah. Absolutely.
So anyway, he's okay then after that.
I find myself, I understand that because if I'm talking to people who don't know anything about what I'm doing, so for example, if I'm working with people who I'm doing training or something, and they don't know anything about the subject that I'm working with, I find that quite easy.
Yeah.
When I'm working with people who are my peers and who know what I'm doing and what I'm talking about, that I find quite difficult.
Would you like a way to do it? What you do is you put 4 slides up. Right? Do not.
I'm going to make notes here.
Death by PowerPoint, it's called, when you're like 37 and you're like falling asleep. Right, 4 slides, and you have 3 or 4, so you want 3 questions, or maximum 4 questions on a slide.
Okay.
Right. Dead simple technique, nothing wonderful about it, just want to...
So all you're doing when you do your talk...
Yeah, well now I'm going to tell you what you do now.
Okay.
Right? So first of all, you stand in that position, and you do not talk and walk. You stay there.
I can't do that.
We've got you. Right? I'm going to make you a wonderful speaker. So you go from there, like that, and you say to them, you can read quicker than I can talk. So any questions on the first line? And they'll ask you a question. Now you've put the question up so you know the answer because you've researched it and got it down. So even though your peers and they're in the same field as you, you've written a question down because you've looked at the answers for that question. So they will ask you, and then you then go, next question, any comments on that? And they will comment if you're saying they're all clued up. And you know the answer to that because you've put it on beforehand. So then, this is slide 1. So then you walk across the stage like that, if it's a big stage. Don't get in front of the bloody funny thing. And you look at them like that, so you're looking at them and engaging with them. Right? And you say, right, slide number 2. Any questions on number 1? Because as I say, they can read quick and you're involving them then, right? But you know the answer. So then you go to that. So then what you do then is walk across to the other side of the stage and you look them up and
Same
down.
for you, yeah.
Right. Any questions? And then the last one is you go there and then what you do is you stand in the middle and say, thank you very much. I hope you're pleased with my answers. Or whatever you want to put because you've scripted it down.
So in other words, they've actually done the talk for you.
Yeah,
basically.
No, you
They've asked the question.
yeah, because you've written the question down. You know what the answer is because you've scripted
Yeah,
it.
so the talk that you give
Yeah.
is actually in response to their question, so it means that they've heard what they want to hear,
And
not what you're telling them.
And you've explained right to them the answer to their question.
This isn't very energetic, but what a really
Well, it is energy.
positive way of
What
doing
you're
it.
doing is you're getting energy out of the crowd. You're engaging them, so they're all, oh yeah, this is not like the old one. Questioning them on that, try and trip them up or whatever. Or they may be nice. If they're nice, they just ask any question because they don't understand it. So this is energy because you're giving them the energy to ask the questions and not be afraid. And of course, you'll get through. You may not get through the four on each slide. Don't know, but it doesn't matter.
That is really interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. Can I just take a step back from that now because we've rather moved off the topic here.
Yes, I like that.
I know you are. I've learned that over the years. Just want to move back one. Because we were talking about the brain, we've been talking about energy, we've been talking about processing things, we were talking about affirmations, what affirmations are. Now the big thing that everybody talks about with the brain is that it doesn't process positive or negative, it just processes the thing. So if I say to you, don't think about pink elephants, what's the first thing you think about?
I've got no chance, baby.
Exactly. If I say to
Pink
you,
elephants are lovely.
if I say to you, do think about pink elephants, again, the first thing you think about is pink elephants. So the brain is only processing the object of what we're doing. How would you use that in a positive way? How would you use that with people?
In what aspect?
Right. I want to think positively about things, but I've got something I want to put right. So I say to myself, well, I don't want to do that.
No, okay. You say, what if this is your problem?
Okay.
You don't want to do that. So you say to them, right, give me a word that encapsulates the problem. Don't tell me what it is, the problem. Just give me a word that encapsulates it. Because all the energy is in that encapsulation of the word. Right. So it could be fear. Fear of public speaking. Right? The word is fear. So what you do is you work on that word fear, which is the affirmation, but it's not an affirmation, you just say they're bloody frightened, right? You know, but that encompasses all kinds of things that they're frightened of. But that's the word that drags you up. Because they're frightened of standing up, they're frightened in case they haven't got a tie on, they're frightened in case this, they're frightened in case they look ugly, in case they look fat, Johnny Club. Right? and it could be a multiple of things, or with women, my hair mightn't be right. I've got no chance on that, like, you know.
Well, it just matters to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, look at you. So what you're doing is you're encapsulating that into one word, fear.
So you're not trying to say, I am not going to be frightened, because all you're saying there is, I'm going to be frightened.
No, because it's the fear. And just say, use that word, fear, and take it away. Now, there's another one which I use called quantum healing, which obviously I'm diversifying again. And what you do is you tell them to, where is that in your body? So that I say, close your eyes and look in. And then they look into the mind, they look into the heart, or they look into the gut, or they look into what's called the yellow coat, or anywhere. It doesn't matter where it is, it's just Chinese terms. Right, now they'll always tell you where it is because it's their problem. So you don't even need a word to it as such, because you say, okay, what colour is it? And they'll give you a colour. Right, so then what you do is you draw that thing out of them. Now I've done this from here to Florida, so it's a good walk from there. But
it is a good walk,
yeah. Feet wet. Yeah. So you can do it like over the phone, which you did in this instance, and I've done a few others, but Florida's been the furthest one. And what you do is you pull it out of them, because it's energy as well that you don't need. You turn it around a different direction, you change the colour, you send it back. Go.
Now, okay, I'd like to investigate that a bit further, but I want to go back a step, because the question I was actually asking was, although you answered it well, the question I was actually asking was, what can I do to stop me thinking about something negative? Instead of saying,
Oh, that's okay.
I don't want to do that.
Right, this is fine. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Sorry, I didn't realise you were asking me that. Because it's bloody thick. But never mind.
That's all right. I didn't want to say that. You know,
I
not
you
in
did
public
this,
anyway.
Yeah. So, tell me in private later. What it is that there's a fellow called Émile Coué, French. That's the best accent I can do.
Okay.
And he's better. And formed the Nancy School of Hypnosis in Paris in 1800 and something. And he used to get lots and lots of people with problems sent by the doctors who they could not fix. So he come up with this very simple affirmation. You want that word?
Okay, got that word, we've had that before.
Yeah, and what they say as they're going to sleep. So what happened? Do you want to talk why you're going to sleep?
So we're running towards the station at the moment. So
oh, yeah, okay, right, so...
start to slow down.
You want me to speed up then?
Yeah.
So, what you do is, that simple thing, you say, every day, in every respect, yeah, use every respect, that was the words you used,
Okay.
or aspect, because it's all language, right? So that confuses your brain.
Yeah.
You say, every day in every aspect, or respect, right? So it's different,
Yeah.
right? So you say, every day in every way, right?
I'm growing better and better.
If you say, this problem, whatever it is becoming less and less and less, not better and better and better, because you don't want the problem to get better, you want it to get less and less and less. You're not saying the negative elements of it, you're just saying reduce it. Now you say that 30 times as you're falling asleep, and 30 times as you wake up in the morning. Now if you don't get through the 30 in the night, that doesn't matter, because you've gone into theta level brain, where that then goes into the if you like, the lower dantian, like the super conscious mind, which says, hang on, what was the last thing he said?
This is getting really fascinating.
And it works.
I think we could go on for another half hour.
Thank you very much.
However, we are
I've got to get the train so it's running.
Exactly.
You're on this train.
But what I want to say is that, I mean, thank you very much for that. So the thing, what we're saying here is, just to sum this up, it's an energy thing that we're talking about.
Yeah.
If we're going to make ourselves an affirmation, a good affirmation, this 30 times saying every day, in every way, in every day, in every respect, or in every aspect, this problem is getting less and less and less.
Yeah.
That, I really think, is a useful thing for all of us, everybody. I think that's a useful thing just to have in your pocket.
That's because your subconscious mind, the last thing, the conscious mind is because you've gone into theta level when you're falling asleep, then goes into delta where you heal yourself. Oh, sorry.
we are moving off on something else, but that's really interesting. We must talk again, Chris.
Okay.
That's really interesting. And we have now come to the end of our, we've drawn into the station. We're coming to a halt. I want to thank you very much for coming down and being so interesting with us. This has been On the Train.
Well, wait a minute, John. So let's just say, like, next week, you know, give them a preview of next week. What's happening?
Preview of next week. Next week, we have a demonstration of mediumship by Karen and Ben, who were on 2 weeks ago. And we've got an invited audience, and we're going to actually do a live demonstration of talking to the dead, basically. We're going to talk to the people that your loved ones, and we're going to bring messages through to them, and we're going to tell everybody how each different person works. So people will be able to know how you actually work when you're connecting with spirit.
So that is like next Wednesday.
That's next Tuesday. That's next
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
It's a week on, and 4 weeks' time on Wednesday, we're going to have a public one. So next week, it's going to be on Tuesday.
During your show.
And during my show, during this show, during the train, it's going to be, the train is going to have a group of us, okay?
Train is full of a caboose. All right, let's just take a bow.
We're going to have a caboose. Okay, guys, thank you very much indeed.